And good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, wherever you happen to be in our glorious world here. Let me move this over here. So, it's glad to be with you again on STATURDAY Chat Live here on November 19th, 2022. I hope all of you are doing well and all of your loved ones are doing well wherever you happen to be in the world. And yeah, we'll see how everything goes on the live stream. So if you are new to the stream, just keep in mind this is how it goes. I do the stream for about 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how the conversation goes in the chat and just things to talk about, and then we'll sort of go from there. I won't be able to always answer the question you might have, but I'll do my best to comment or maybe hold that off on another platform. So on LinkedIn and things like that, you can contact me there. So yeah, excellent. So please, yeah, I think everyone can hear me, hopefully. Let's see here. Yeah. Valdemar, I did a sound check, so I think it should be working fine. Check your sound settings on LinkedIn and make sure that it is not muted or turned up loud enough. So there's a bit of delay here, but if you can hear me okay, just give me a thumbs up in the chat. No one else has seen anything. So said anything, so I assume it's okay. So Valdemar, yes. So the sound is good, as far as I know. All right. Always a few things at the beginning of live streams that make it interesting, but I think everything is okay. So of course, the first thing, let me know where you are watching from. Always like to know where in the world you happen to be watching from. So Per Eriksson says, hello from a snowy Sweden. I actually have a kind of related bit of news here in a second related to that part of the world. But glad you are there from Sweden. Again, let me know where else you are watching from. Sorry about my stammering. I'm trying to deal with the sound issues and make sure they are okay for everyone, but I think they are. So yeah, problems with LinkedIn. It works on YouTube. Yeah, there might be some issue with LinkedIn, which I don't have any control over. So check the sound on LinkedIn there. All right. So what's new on the channel? So right now I'm working on a new playlist in the time series videos. So it's playlist number 2. So I've been working on that in my spare time. And actually after this live stream today, I'm going to gather up my computer, head to the coffee shop and do a couple hours work on that video and hopefully have that done and recorded and out at the beginning of next week. So about a little bit over a week from now. This week here in the US, maybe elsewhere, is Thanksgiving week. So I'll be with my family and stuff during this week. A few days off. So hopefully the time off will allow me to get that video recorded and out to you at the beginning of next week. All right. Tim says hello from North Carolina. Hey, Tim. Hope you are doing well down in North Carolina. I was down in Charlotte a few years ago for the race. So hope to get back there at some point, but welcome to the live stream. So yes, I'm working on a new video playlist series, and the first video is usually the impetus for future videos. So once I get this first video done, there'll be more coming out sort of based off what I've done for that first video. So there should be more videos coming out quicker over the next month or so. So of course we have the holiday season here in the US and elsewhere, which means I do have a little bit of time to work on videos. So hello from a snowy Sweden. The news on that front is actually that between Christmas and New Year's and on New Year's, I will be in Amsterdam. So I will be in the Netherlands from Christmas through New Year's to like January 3rd or 4th. So I will be in that part of the world again. So I know it's might be a small group here, but if you or anyone else you know happens to be in that area of the world, Amsterdam, Netherlands, Belgium area, let me know. I'll be around that area for the holidays. And, I just always wanted to travel, and now I have a little bit of opportunity to do that. And now I'm going to take the time to travel when I can. So I will be over there between Christmas and New Year's, and through New Year's actually. So Hello, Amsterdam. Yeah, and I just got back from Germany, as many of you know. So, all right. What else we got in here? Cheers, Piper Trip. Good to see you again, my friend. Cheers from Denver. Was out in Denver a few years ago for a conference. I love Denver. Went out to Red Rocks, watched the sunrise. It was an amazing experience. So I hope to get out there again. Nasrullah, hello. It's good to see you on the stream. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you. Sanjana, hello. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by again. Let's see here. What else we got here? I'm trying to think. Is there any more news I want to get out of the way before we start taking a few questions? So yes. Obviously, if you are in the U.S. and other places in the world that celebrate, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family and everyone that you care about this coming week. We should all take time to give thanks for the things that we have and the blessings we have. So I try to do that every night before I go to bed, is to say one thing I'm thankful for. We shouldn't wait one day of the year to do that, of course, but it'll be good to see some family and stuff I haven't seen in a while. We're actually going to do our Thanksgiving tomorrow. It's easier for us to get together tomorrow than on Thanksgiving. But happy Thanksgiving to all of you all. The live stream will be going on in 2 weeks from now, which is on December 3rd. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, of course, for another stream. And then usually when the holidays come up, of course, I won't be streaming over the holidays because, one, I'll be out of town some of that time. And also, I try to give you all a break from even me. So, but we're doing everything the same up until then. So I'm continuing to work on the time series playlist. I got plenty of videos planned out, and I'll be getting those, going as soon as I can. All right. Mr. Spock says, do I need to know differential equations well for building neural networks? That depends. If you want to get into the mathematics of machine learning and neural networks and stuff, then yes, you'll need to know a lot of mathematics, including, advanced calculus. So it depends. If you're just looking to build a neural network through software and not getting into the mathematics of it, then no. So it just depends on the mathy-ness of what you really want to know in terms of the algorithms. So that's my 2 cents on that. Oh, also wanted to say before I get going on some of the other comments and questions in here, obviously it's a very tough time in the tech sector right now. So if you or anyone else has been impacted by all the layoffs and everything that's in the tech sector, and it's going to continue to happen over the next several months, my thoughts are with you. I'm sorry about that, and anyone else that is going through that. It's a very tough time for the tech sector. With high interest rates, free money is over, and there's a bit of a reckoning, unfortunately, and there's overhiring, all kinds of stuff going on. But that's neither here nor there. It's about the human thing for me. So if you or anyone else were impacted, I wish you the best, and anyone the best, of course. All right. Okay. So Tushar, I hope I'm saying that correctly. I always try to get names correct. If I do not, I apologize. Hi, Brandon. I'm doing my MSc in statistics. I want to start machine learning. For where should I start? Shall I learn theory of statistics first? Very well. Or should I learn machine learning along with theory? So first thing here I would say is that it depends on the application of what you intend to do. So whether or not you go into a lot of theoretical concepts in statistics and machine learning is really dependent on what you want to do. So most people that learn the theoretical side of those sorts of things, it's kind of similar to the math question before, are individuals who want to go into the actual, creating and optimizing and streamlining of the algorithms themselves to sort of know that sort of theory. Whereas a practitioner is really just implementing those algorithms and interpreting them and building the models and just looking at the output and tuning them and stuff like that. So it depends on the extent to how much you want to get into the weeds of learning the theoretical things behind statistics and machine learning. And that's a personal sort of thing. for many people, the first sort of bridge or transition from traditional statistics into machine learning is through traditional linear regression for continuous on the continuous side of the equation. Pardon the pun. To logistic regression, which is on the classification side of the equation. So a lot of people will ease into machine learning through linear regression and logistic regression. It's also a good place to transition into that because those two algorithms are easy to interpret. Of course, they're related. They're very transparent in how they work. So that's sort of a good bridge point going from one, to the other. But when you get into other machine learning type algorithms, the theory behind them is a lot, different. So you start working in multi-dimensions and, global and local maxima and optimization, basically. That's where the calculus comes in, by the way. So it really just depends on where you want to interface statistics with machine learning, how much into the theory you actually want to get, and then go from there. So there's quite a bit of machine learning topics that have similarity with statistics, namely the regression things I just mentioned. Also, if you put analytics in that sort of category as well. So again, if you're talking about classification type problems, classification processes and algorithms, hierarchical type things, cluster type algorithms, those happen in analytics as well, and business analytics and have you. And that translates over obviously into the machine learning type stuff. So it just depends on where you want to kind of put the two together, and that's really up to you. So Tushar, what I might say is start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind and work backwards through your program and your studies to how you might get there. And also talk to other people in your field, whatever field you happen to be in or whatever you want to do. Talk to others that are also in that field. All right. So I'm going to come here. I know statistics that is covered up syllabus of the BSc. Okay. So some topics I don't have a clear concept. A lag in some part, although like regression and time series. Yeah. So again, so regression, whether it's typical linear regression, multiple regression, where we have continuous, dependent variable, and logistic, where we have a classifier, a binary sort of outcome, or good places to step across that boundary from one into the other. Time series is a special case in machine learning. So you're talking about recurrent neural networks or RNNs. Those are very good to learn and know, but it's a very specialized type of thing. You won't see a whole lot of else. I don't think you'll see a whole lot of other type stuff other than recurrent neural networks, RNNs, in machine learning. All right. Okay. Sparks has got it. Thank you very much. You are very welcome. Absolutely. You are very, very welcome. Inexperience, Erickson asks, inexperience using ML tools like AWS SageMaker, Autopilot, or GCP AutoML, your opinions? Unfortunately, I do not. My work does not take me into that level of those tools. So obviously I work in the education space primarily in my day job, and of course on YouTube and stuff like that. So I don't have a whole lot of input, unfortunately, into that. If anyone else in the chat does, please feel to chime in. And of course, this chat isn't just me blabbing, right? You can ask each other questions and respond to each other. So like Daniel did here, which I'll put up on the screen in a second. So if I don't know something or have experience with something, and you do, talk to another individual in the chat. We can all learn from each other. All right. She sure says, thanks. You are very, very welcome. So again, here's Daniel's comment. Speaking to someone else, Tushar, in the chat. I'm a biostatistician now and want to transfer into data science. Okay. I have some experience with machine learning, but not in industry, and most of them are toy projects. How could I fill that gap? So again, this is very sort of similar to what I was mentioning with Tushar before. It depends on where you want to bridge that gap from traditional statistics, or in your case, biostatistics, into sort of machine learning. They're not the same thing, of course. Again, there's some overlap. Usually the like I said 5 times probably already, a common way to get into machine learning from statistics is through regression, of course. And then in analytics, we do other things, other classification type techniques especially happen in analytics. So those are good places to kind of go from one to the other and back and forth. And of course, remember that the application of things like regression and other classifying algorithms, the implementation is not necessarily the same. Like if I'm doing a business analytics project or something along those lines, how I utilize statistics and other type of classifier type techniques might be different than how I use them in a machine learning context. They're related, of course, but they're not necessarily the same thing. It's like a different flavor. They're both ice cream, but just different flavors of ice cream. So, and now I want ice cream. All right. But I will say it's a lot of people, especially in the past, and I guess, still now, that come to my YouTube channel are actually individuals who want to get into machine learning and other advanced topics, but don't have the statistics background. So they come to my channel to get sort of that background, and then that prepares them to go into the machine learning type realm. So AI is the big thing. We're really on the cusp of something blowing up in AI right now, in my view. It's just really, really, the generative AI image, tools that we were all seeing everywhere, text AI type tools, all the smart home devices we have, our phones. The AI space is just getting ready to blow up, if not already. So that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Interested in your opinions, though, of course. But look, put your opinions in the chat, and we can discuss them. We're here for a conversation, right? So something you want to talk about, or disagree with me, or agree with me, put it in the chat. We'll talk about it. Daniel says, thanks. You are very welcome. All right. Valdemar, I have trouble understanding the fundamentals in regard to reference groups and multiple logistic regression. Example, not addicted 0, addicted equals 1. Not addicted would be my reference group, right? It's arbitrary. It's arbitrary. There's nothing in this sort of instance, when you have a binary classifier, which one you put as a 0 or a 1 or a true or false, however you want to characterize it, is completely arbitrary. So you can decide whatever makes more sense. You could run it both ways, and then whichever one makes more sense to you when you explain it to a stakeholder or write it up or whatever else you want to do, just use the one that makes sense to you. But 0 or 1 in binary regression, or any sort of logistic regression context, is really arbitrary, unless in your field or in previous research studies or by convention, it's one way or another. So, and sometimes it just makes everyday sense. So in this example, not addicted might make more sense as 0, because it's sort of a negative, right? Not addicted, 0, and addicted equal 1. That's sort of a positive, well, not positive in the real sense, you know what I mean? But it's sort of a, yes happened, no didn't happen. But fundamentally, Valdemar, it's arbitrary. Whichever one you pick is whichever one you pick. But I will say in this case, the way you have it listed here probably makes more sense for the reader. If I'm reading a paper or something and, it lists the variable as addicted as 0, common sense tells me it might want to be reversed. But anyway, it's completely arbitrary. All right. So Tim asks, why don't colleges require a course in finite math? I have found that the material in those books along with some calculus, is way more relevant to most jobs and everyday life. Thanks. Great comment and great question, Tim. I agree with you. So here's my experience. I'll take a drink. Oh, side note, this is my tea glass. You see? Have a happy day. My little tea glass that I have. In the winter especially, a little trick someone taught me is and you take your tea, and you don't have to have a cold or anything, but if you do, it's fine. In your tea, put in a Halls or some other cough drop. So in my tea, I put 1 or 2 lemon Halls cough drops, and it's delicious with the tea. It opens up your sinuses. It's very tingly, tasty. Adds a little sugar to it. It's good. All right, back to Tim's question. So my experience was this. In my undergraduate degree, so I was going to teach mathematics and science. So I had to take some math classes. And one of the classes I took was linear algebra. So in high school, I'd taken all the way up to calculus, AP calculus in high school. Got to linear algebra in college, and I might as well have reading a foreign language. I had no idea what linear algebra was, even though I'd had AP calculus. So I really actually struggled in that class because it was so new to me. Then, years later, when I got to Indiana University working on my doctorate, I was also tutoring. So, what 90-something% of what I tutored at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, was finite math. And the reason that's the case is because finite mathematics was a prerequisite to get into the business school, at least at that time. So it was M118. I still have all my stuff over here. Hold on. So, little historical artifacts. So this is my binder of finite mathematics when I was tutoring at Indiana University. I still have all of it. I have all the stuff still that I keep for reference. So, I had this weird boomerang with linear algebra, finite mathematics. They're not exactly the same thing, but they're pretty close to the same thing. So, I was tutoring finite mathematics at Indiana University. I was making as much, if not more, money tutoring that subject than I was teaching with my teaching stipend, because no students had experienced finite mathematics before. So, I came to love, through its utility, finite mathematics. So obviously we covered everything from, linear programming up through Markov chains, stuff like that. I really came to fall in love with finite mathematics through tutoring it so much, and it's very useful, right? And then later on, when I get into the YouTube, this is before my YouTube channel ever existed. Then I get into the YouTube channel and start encountering individuals who are in the same place. Right, they're going into statistics or machine learning or, let's say, operations or something like that, where a lot of linear programming is used, or a lot of linear algebra and matrix operations and stuff like that are used, and have never had it either. So, this is a long answer to this question. I think it's really important and very good comment and question. Is that I can only speak for U.S. high schools. But I would like to see an option in some high schools where instead of going from maybe a pre-calculus and calculus route, which is fine, that's the route I went on, and instead of going the pre-calculus calculus route, also having potentially some sort of finite math or linear algebra route, which is, which has other implications and other benefits further down. So finite math is a really cool subject. Linear algebra is a very cool subject. It's very useful when you look at the history of how it was invented in terms of optimization and logistics and stuff like that. So I agree. So I find the material in those books of finite math way more relevant to most jobs in everyday life. I completely agree. Last thing I'll say about this, so there's probably some comments about it, is that if you, on this note, in just in Excel, the solver add-in can do so many cool things that you wouldn't think it could do in so many disciplines, right? So a quick example, in like finance and investments, you can use the solver add-in, which is running underneath it, linear algebra or similar type concepts, to optimize stock portfolios. So there's all kinds of stuff you can do in linear algebra, and I agree, it is very relevant, it is very important, it's very useful. It's also, in a lot of cases, very visual. So when I was tutoring students in linear algebra and stuff, we'd actually graph, we'd graph the lines, we'd graph the constraints, we would line up the objective function and stuff, and it would make sense. So, all right, I could talk about that for a day. I could talk about it all day. I agree. Because Brandon, for helping me through my first semester in stats, you are very welcome, but the kudos goes to you, Pear, my friend. You did all the hard work. You just, you put in the effort and took the time to go watch the videos that you needed help on, and that makes all the difference. So you get all the kudos, but I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, VidBot, thank you so much for everything you've done for the community. You're literally a lifesaver. I'm not sure about that. There are many true lifesavers all over the world and in our communities that do save literal lives. But I'm glad that we should celebrate them. But I'm glad, VidBot, that you found the channel helpful and it helped you sort of along your way. All right. So just real quickly, there's a lot of stuff in the chat we'll get to, which is exciting. I like when it happens. So just a reminder here on the YouTube channel that I have everything organized by playlists. So you can see the playlist topics here. So if you're going to study a certain topic, you can find the entire playlist under popular playlists right there. Also, just real quickly on my website, which is just bcfoltz.com. If you go to the YouTube section here, I have, let's go to the slimmed down version. Let me go to this one. So on this page here, I have all my stats playlists listed. And when you hover over, it'll tell you how many videos are in that playlist, the average video length, and the total length of the playlist. So if you want to sort of binge watch a topic and need to know how many videos, how long it is, this is the place to go. So each one of those has that information here, and you can go to the playlist right here with the button. It'll take you right there. So I click on that. See, it takes you right to that sort of playlist, and you can watch from there. So again, this is on my website under Statistics 101 here in this menu right here. Also, while I'm here on this topic, for certain playlists, I do have the PDF companions you can purchase. They're not expensive or anything like that, but it does help support the channel. And you get a PDF that has every slide in that playlist, along with the transcript and places for notes. So they look like this. So you have the slide here, you have the time code where that slide is, and this link will take you directly to that slide in the video. And then, of course, here's the transcript below it. And that's for every video in that playlist, all of them. Okay. And then, in addition to that, there are areas here where you can take notes off to the side that I made for you, and then, some blank note pages you can take. So those PDFs are available through my website, and they do help support the channel. I make the videos, for free. No one pays me to make these videos. So stuff like this helps, and you get, a 500 or 600 page PDF in the process. So there's that. And then last thing, if you are ever looking for any downloads that go along with certain videos, you can find those under the download section, sort of right here. So under YouTube, downloads. Okay. You can always contact me through my website as well. So if you have a question ahead of time about anything for the live stream, you can just go to my website, type in your stuff, hit send, it'll email it to me. Okay. And then I do have a FAQ here. So if you have any questions, you can find that under the FAQ on my website. So my website is not, very big. It's just sparse, but it is functional. So anything you need related to what we do here, you can find there. So again, it's just bcfoltz.com right there. Actually, let's go ahead and copy it and paste it right there. All right. So, all right, back to me. Where was I? Up here. We're talking about linear algebra. Okay, which is fantastic. All right, I think we were here. Vladimir says, thank you. You are very welcome. Pepper Trip asked if my little concoction here is black tea or green tea. I have both upstairs, but this happens to be just black tea with 2 lemon hulls, cough drops in it. It's delicious. Very good. It's very, very good. All right, let's see here. Cyrus asks, Sir Brandon. Well, that's very fancy, but thank you. What are the uses of multiple regression in research? Can you give some examples, e.g. hypothesis testing? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, because they're 2 different things. Well, they're related, obviously. So absolutely, multiple regression is foundational to so much quantitative research, right? So walk through any journal or look through any journal that uses, quantitative data in it, and you will see multiple regression still all over the place. Now, a lot of those techniques are more advanced multiple regression, because obviously the researchers that do that research have had very advanced quantitative training and techniques. But underneath, a lot of it is still multiple regression. So to give you one example would be kind of silly because it's just everywhere. You find multiple regression everywhere. When, especially, well, in 2 ways. In a lot of research, they're trying to build some sort of theoretical model, right? So in many things, when they're trying to build that theoretical model out, they're trying to determine which variables matter, the importance of each variable in terms of contributing to the outcome variable or variables. So they're trying to develop that theoretical model based off the regression, techniques. That's all over the place, okay? It's really the foundation of a lot of research, especially in social sciences and stuff like that. So examples, there's so many. Every field uses multiple regression on some level. And you can use it, and it's so easy to implement and understand. You can use it in your personal life. So one of the things I'm doing it's not exactly this sort of thing, but for the time series videos I am making, one of the projects I'm doing in the background is I'm building a time series model based off the amount of energy I use in my house. So I'm using multiple regression to develop that time series model. So that's one example. Hypothesis testing is, again, everywhere in statistics. You're just comparing the outcome, or you're making your hypothesis and then testing that, either rejecting or failing to reject the hypothesis. But hypothesis testing is also a thing for terms within equations. So obviously multiple regression, each term has its own hypothesis test. So that's everywhere. Okay. All right, linear algebra seems to be very badly taught in so many places. Um, I agree, but I think it's just one of those. There are a couple of holes, especially in the U.S. education mathematics curriculum. Um, yeah, I will put this as one of them because traditionally, what students would do, and this is what I did. I had pre-algebra, then algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, pre-calculus, calculus. So that was sort of the path. Oh wait, I didn't even have pre-algebra. I went right into algebra 1. So algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, pre-calc, calc. Those were 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade for me. So once we got to algebra 2, that was the end of algebra. And then we went on to pre-calc. So I do think linear algebra should be an option in schools. But again, I think that would probably be a junior or senior level class. Well, I think it could be done. But some things are badly taught because the people who would teach it haven't really had it. So it is. It's such a cool subject. It's so useful, and a lot of it's intuitive because it's visual. So I completely agree. All right. Mr. Spock says for linear algebra, Professor Gilbert Strang course available on the MIT channel seems to be the best. Cool. See if I can. Yep, there we go. Oop. Sorry about that. So, I'll bring this up for Mr. Spock's comment here. There we go. So if you type in MIT and Gilbert or Gilbert Strang, you'll find those courses. So that's a good suggestion. Thank you very much for doing that. All right. Thank you, Mr. Spock. So I need some machine learning tips, please. That's kind of a broad ask. You have to be more specific than that. The best general tip I can give you, Akram, is just to start at the beginning and build it up in pieces, just step by step. You can find the machine learning for absolute beginners is a good place to start if you're new to it. Learn the statistics that go into it, and then build up sort of from there. If you're looking for more advanced implementations of machine learning topics, obviously YouTube is a great space to do. Udemy is great. There's some great teachers on Udemy that teach this sort of stuff, and you can download the code and follow along and everything. So all right. All right. Okay. Yeah. So there we go. All right. For answering my question, you're very welcome. You can write your own linear code if you understand linear algebra. Yeah, absolutely you can. And you can understand how the solver add-ins work and other type things work, what's going on behind the scenes and some of this stuff. So, yes, absolutely. Nazrullah says, all respect, I do not feel every teacher professor have the skill of presenting a topic in an intuitive way and keep connecting dots as we move on to further topic. Absolutely. Teaching itself is a skill. It is an art. And just because you know a lot about something doesn't mean you can explain it to someone else or know how to explain it. Some people can, some people can't. It just depends. It's a skill like everything else. I've really found your way of teaching absolutely hitting the bullseye. It's intuitive. Previous topics are well connected along with the application. Good. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping to do, right? And my videos, in the past, people have said they're a bit too repetitive or whatever else, but here's the thing. If you know how people learn and you know how to teach, there's always meshing topics together And the way you do that is to kind of tie this to that. And that's the way people understand stuff, right? So, okay. All right. Henish asks, could you please suggest a few statistics books to start with for business analyst? I sure can. Let me see here. I'm a bit biased because I work on these books. But where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Ooh, okay. Where's the other book at? It might be upstairs. No, actually, hold on. Okay. Whoa. I almost slid across the floor. So, a few statistics books to start with, especially for a business analyst. The caveat to this, of course, is that I work for the company that I actually work on the team that makes this book. So the best starting book for statistics, if you like the way I teach, especially, is this book, Statistics for Business and Economics, right here. This is the 14th edition, but you can find prior editions. I wouldn't go back any further than maybe the 12th or 13th because there's been a lot of updates since. This is a great book for individuals just getting in statistics and learning, those topics. So this is my pick. The thing is, like I've said on this live stream before, I was using this book to tutor students before I ever knew Cengage was a company. This is like 10, 15 years ago. I was using the earlier editions of this book because it's so well written, so easy to understand. It just flows. So well written. And then for business analytics, same author team as the previous book. This is the prior edition. This is the third. It's currently in its fourth edition. But you can find this also probably used, floating around out there to have for your bookshelf or what have you. So this is, again, it's so well written. It's so clear in the way they explain the topics in a business context. So these are the ones that I can recommend wholeheartedly because this is my day job. I work on these 9 to 5 every day. So, but I was using them before that. So those are my two suggestions. And of course, if you teach or whatever in a university or are going to be teaching in a university setting, those are the books to use. Okay. All right. It's great to be in your live again. Excellent. Your simplification of linear models is carrying me through my PhD. It's helped me understand the GLMS and even dip my toes in Bayesian modeling. Thanks. You are very, very welcome. I'm glad that it's very, very helpful. Okay, I think I got this one already. A few statistics books. Absolutely. Let's see here. Sarah says, thank you. You're very, very welcome. Pepper Trip. Yeah, Strang is great. So apparently that's a very great resource. The MIT Gilbert Strang, I guess is how you pronounce his last name. If you want to learn linear algebra type stuff, I'm going to go back and watch some of his stuff myself. Because if you all had that much faith in a teacher, then I need to go watch. Piper agrees. Excellent. Yeah, MIT OpenCourseWare and on YouTube both. Yep. Legend in linear algebra. Excellent. Okay. Now we're finite elements. Start with linear regression. Absolutely. Let's see here. Only a couple more minutes because it's about 45 minutes in, so we're going to end this here in a few. So if you have any last minute questions or comments, please put them in the chat now, and I will get to them over the next couple of minutes, and then we'll wrap up this stream, which has been fantastic. You all are really awesome. Manuela says, hello, Brandon. I gave you $25 for a coffee on your weekend channel. Thank you so much. I did see that, and I went back to try to find where I could reply and thank you, but I couldn't I couldn't find it. So I'm glad you stopped by, Manuela, because I do appreciate your support, and the coffee keeps me going. When I'm sitting in the coffee shop making videos for you all, if I have, you know, a little bit extra coffee, it keeps me going, and you all get more you all get more videos, right? So thank you so much. On that note, I'll get back to the questions here in a second. Any sort of super chats, thanks and PayPal tips are welcome. It helps the channel a great deal. As you can see, I put a lot of effort into them for you, and I do it for free, so there are obviously costs and resources associated with making these videos. So if you have a couple dollars here or there or whatever, it doesn't have to be $25. It can be a few dollars, $2, whatever. That $2 will buy me a coffee, right? So I appreciate your support in any way. If you're feeling generous, because it does help me, make more videos, as it has for the past 10 years. And of course, buying the PDFs do as well. And then in that case, you actually get something. So I appreciate your tips and support and thanks that you can do on YouTube, and of course, PayPal tips. All right. So Manuela, again, thank you so much. I appreciate that. One thing I need is to do a lot of projects. We'll love some good guided projects. I completely agree, Piper Trip. Those, of course, take a lot of time to put together. I would love to do stuff like that. Like if I were doing this full time, as you can see, like in my videos, I try to use real world examples, scenarios that are meaningful. So I completely agree. I'd love to make stuff like that. And you can probably find it, on Udemy and stuff like that. You can find guided projects. STATURDAY with Trevor Hasty and Robert Tibshirami is a good springboard into machine learning if you are fine with R. However, you need some stats and calc before diving in. Absolutely. That's the thing. When you get into like machine learning and stuff, you have to kind of take a path of whether or not you want to learn a lot of the math, a little of the math, or none of the math, and are just focusing on the concepts and implementation. All of those routes are valid. It just depends on which way you sort of want to go. And some people who teach and write in this area assume differing levels of math and stats background. So absolutely. What's your email? Cyrus, you can reach me through my website, which I had up before. So the best way to reach me is through my website. So if you go to my website, contact me, live stream question form, and then you can put any of your question, comments, or whatever in there. Okay? That's the best place. Any tips to find some good basic projects? Again, the place I've come across great projects are Udemy courses, where you can have, hundreds of file downloads and everything, where you can actually follow along with those sort of projects. There are many online courses, like Maven is a good one, where you can do a lot of projects and dashboarding and stuff. So that's one idea. Thanks again. Have a great weekend. You too. First Excel project with stats. Fabulous. Manuela. Excellent. Hey, Glenn. Just made it. Hope things are going well. They are going well, my friend. I hope you are doing well, and happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. From the YouTube videos. Fantastic. Piper Trip asks, how do we do a PayPal tip? That's very easy. If you go to my channel, pull this up here. How do you do a PayPal tip? Straightforward. Go to my channel, and then up here in the upper right, you'll see my website, LinkedIn, and a little PayPal button. Click on that. It'll take you right here. So Mind Left Education is actually my company, but you can see that right here. You can do whatever little tip. You can do another, but it's right there on my channel header on the far right. Looks like you had fun in Germany. I did. I had a great time. So thank you very much. PDFs as well. Excellent. let's see here. Yeah, a lot of good resources everywhere. Love R. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. ISLR, Introduction to Statistical. So I have that over there somewhere. Excellent. And then I recommend your channel and the website to my classmates and friends. Excellent. That's another way you can, pay me back, quote, pay me back, is just to recommend the channel and share it with classmates, colleagues, friends, professors, your departments, schools, whatever, whoever else. The more people that watch, the more people I can help, and I see it as that way. It's not like I'm not looking to be famous or have glory or anything like that. I actually don't like stuff like that. So, but if I can help more people, that's what's important to me. So yes, please share. All right. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up, everybody. But I hope if you're here in the U.S. and elsewhere that celebrate, I hope you have a good Thanksgiving with you and yours, and have a good meal and all that kind of stuff. And we will be back again in 2 weeks from today, which is December 3rd. So we'll be back on December 3rd for another live stream. So I hope you and yours have a fantastic, fantastic rest of the week. Take care and bye-bye.